Hello, 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 hello. You all right? How you doing? Oh, I'm knackered today. I'm knackered. Um, not for any good reason. For all the worst reasons. Thanks so much for joining us live. We are live every Sunday at 12 p.m, 12 noon UK time. And just before we went live, I saw this stunning tweet that's been shared all over the place. And thankfully, in a way that people are slapping back on it and not doing all the rest. So that's just I've just basically ripped up everything I was going to talk about because I've got to go through this. But before we do, I'm on the Sunday page still. Please check out our new website, triggerwarning.tv. The first time you go into it, there should be a thing. It'll say sign up, so you can join up. There's no tracking. There's no algorithms. We're not selling your data to anyone. In fact, Hayden regularly purges anything that is needed. Right now, for some reason, there's usually a video there, but I'm assuming that Hayden's messing with it right now, because that's what he does. He's constantly fiddling around with the shop. But yeah, click on that link there. Don't be a sheep if you want to get involved, if you want to write on the page. And of course, we've got our store there if you'd like to support us. I'm going to click on this and find out what's going on. I'm intrigued. Let's have a look. Ooh. Oh, yeah, this is really important, okay? So we got all the t-shirts, we got all the mugs. My personal favourite being the Your Next guy. I love this so much. Mr. Rape Unicorn shirt. It makes me so happy. When you do get this one, please send me a picture of it. Please. I love getting pictures, knowing that you're wearing Mr. Rape Unicorn. And in fact, I need to get one. I need to get one so badly. But, of course, the other thing as well is this Trigger Warner supporter. So, if you want to buy a shirt or whatever, that's fine. You want to just have something for yourself. But if not, we've got a new thing here. And eventually, this is going to replace Patreon. So, you can go here. You can literally just throw us £1. You can throw it, but then you can do it. You can do it monthly, recurring. Now, what this will also do will link into the profile that you make on triggerwarning.tv. So not only is it a social media and all the rest of it, because some of you know, oh, look at that, global. Not only do we have a social media where you can go and connect, and it's free speech, you can do whatever you want. This is like everything that's been happening. It's connected as well. So if you support the show and you donate via the website rather than directly through PayPal or whatever, if you do it via the website, you'll be member of increasing groups. So and what I mean by increasing groups is there'll be members only posts, there'll be members only videos. We're open to just replace Patreon because, apart from the cut they take, we all know the immoral things they've been doing. The second they become a moral arbiter, then it's very, very nervous, and they can just cut it out from us anytime they want, and we don't like that. So yeah, please consider going on the site and donating that way. I'm assuming it's okay. I've not checked with Aiden yet. He said not to say anything just yet. But it's there anyway. It's there, so you know. Right, let's check the chats. We've got Susan. We've got Hand God. We've got Little Glob. We've got Boss Home, who said, morning, you sexy lad. And Sutty said, next time I'll check my notifications on the bell, Graeme? Yeah, he tweeted me just before we came on air. Yeah. Subscribe, ring the bell. Some people get a bit annoyed at us saying that, like, all the time. And there is that attitude of, like, oh, well, I know how YouTube works, but I personally watch quite a few channels that I'm not subscribed to. They come up in my feed. YouTube knows that I want to see it, or you go directly via tweets, or you search for it because you know when it's on or whatever. So and there's a lot. I think about 1/3. I've not checked for a few days now. 1/3 of our views are from non-subscribers. If we have a video that does really, really well, it goes 50-50 subs and non-subs. So that's why I'm saying it. If you're subbed and you've rung the bell, brilliant. Thank you. Please. Forgive me and put up with it whilst I'm doing the same thing, basically. Don't forget super chats if you want a guarantee to be seen. And, of course, if you do sub via the website, if you do pay via the website, I won't necessarily get a notification for that just yet. So I do apologise if that is the case. Right, let's get on with this, because I saw this tweet. I literally, what is it? 19th of June, so it's a while ago, but it's just going viral now. It's had 63 retweets, and it has been ratioed like mad. Let's make that a little bit bigger for anyone that's on a small screen. And it says, if you are a man, you are part of rape culture. Now, this is a part of the intersectional bigotry that we're seeing more and more at the moment, where your group holds guilt for the entirety. Your group is entirely responsible, which is the inverse of your victim group. You know, the allies coming together, solidarity, pride, all that other nonsense. There's always a dark side to that coin, and the solidarity of all being together. It's why I don't like things like LGBT, because I think the costs outweigh the positives, and this is the cost. This is what it leads to. If you're a man, you're a part of rape culture. I thought we'd have a little read of this, eh? I couldn't resist. It's just so good. Oh! I've killed that thing there. Where is it? There it is. Let's put that on. George Galloway. Wait, what the hell, Graeme? Why live now? Way too early. I go live at noon, man. I know. We have a couple of people in Texas who have to wake up at 6 a.m. But you know what? They make a thing out of it. They wake up 5, 6 a.m. They get a whiskey, they get a smoke, and they just enjoy a very, very early Sunday getting completely wrecked trying to trigger me. And that's how it goes. Let's get on with this, though, because I really want to read this. This is so good. The Good Men Project. A Gentleman's Guide to Rape Culture. It's bullshit, innit? It's bullshit. The whole phrase, rape culture, it's nonsense. I mean, sure, there's some war zones at the moment where rape is used as a tool. I guess you could call that rape culture. Although it's done because rape is a bad thing. It's being used as a tool of war. Beyond that, I don't know. Maybe there's some countries where it's legal. I know I read that recent thing. Was it a Bangladeshi guy who got married to someone, then took her over the border to China, and basically just pimped her out and said, I own you now. I guess that might be rape culture. But I'm guessing that's not what Zaron Burnett is referring to here. If you're a man, I love that. You're a part of rape culture. I know. I'm reading the thing here now. Oh, wait. Whoa. Let's make this a bit bigger for people. How's that? Is that okay? I know. That sounds rough. You're not a rapist, necessarily. Is that where we're starting from? Well, you might not be a rapist. It might... But you do perpetuate the attitudes and behaviour commonly referred to as rape culture. Now, I'm really interested to see how this is justified here, because everyone knows rape's bad. Even rapists know that rape is bad. So what we're going to do with this information? Oh, God. Oh, one second. Easy B! Will you close that door, darling? Close that door. No, my door. I don't want me. I just noticed my daughter running around. I don't want her just hearing me going, rape! Daddy, what's rape? Jesus Christ. But yeah, so here's the thing, man. Rape's bad. Everyone knows rape's bad. Even rapists know that rape's bad. Rapists don't brag about being a rapist, yeah? Rapists in prison get treated very badly by other prisoners. Other criminals look down at rapists. So I'm not sure. This is the issue. This is where it always goes to head. Because the sort of intersectional bigots say things like rape culture, and the rest of us go, what the fuck are you talking about? But we have to understand what they're doing. Like any religion, like any extremist, they have a very particular set of words that they use to signal. This is why they're always going on about dog whistles, because that's the world they live in. You might say something entirely innocent or just ridiculous or stupid, and they'll go, dog whistle, because they see it everywhere, because that's the world they live in. And that's what it is with rape culture. So let's hope we finally get to the bottom of what the hell rape culture means. You may be thinking, now hold up, Zaran. You don't know me, homie. Yes. I said homie once, and I regretted it instantly, in conversation. I'll be damned if I'm going to let you say I'm some sort of fan of rape. That's not me, man. Well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? So here we go. They've heard it, the intersexuals. So what is their code? Because this is the thing with them. They don't value logical consistency. They don't value actual clear sort of equality for everyone, equality of attitudes, equality of perspectives, and justice and respect and all that. So a lot of them have said rape culture, and a lot of them, people like me, have gone, what the fuck are you talking about? It's ridiculous. So what they do is, because it's a religion, because intersectionality is a bigoted religion, it is a rebranding of racism and sexism in a way that they are bigots, but they've intellectualized and they've built this thing around it to make it feel okay. We're not racist. We're just talking about your perspective. We're making assumptions about you based on the colour of your skin or based on what's between your legs, but it's not bigoted when we do it, because we've created this wonderful thing. Let's see how they justify it. Back to the essay. I totally know how you feel. That was pretty much exactly my response when someone told me I was part of rape culture. It sounds horrible, but just imagine moving through the world, always afraid you could be raped. Yeah, that's terrible. Why would you do that? Don't live your life like that. You could be, the fridge could fall on me when I open it. I could choke on this. I'm not going to not enjoy it, though. Jesus Christ. They talk about this. They talk about, rape culture. One of the safest places on earth is college campuses. And yet that's the place where they focus the most, isn't it? But let's go on. Just imagine moving through the world. Oh, afraid. That's even worse. Rape culture sucks for everyone involved, but don't get hung up on the terminology. I would like to get hung up on the terminology. If you're going to pathologise all men, then terminology is quite important, I'd say. Don't concentrate on the words that offend you. This is religious. This is cult indoctrination, isn't it? Don't get hung up on the terminology. Don't concentrate on the words. Just soak it in. Soak it in. just don't think about it. Just prepare yourself for the Kool-Aid. And ignore what they're pointing to, the words rape. Just ignore it. The reality they describe is the problem. Men are the primary agents and sustainers of rape culture. Most men rape. Yeah. I mean, it's you could get into the legal argy-badgy. It's legally impossible for a woman to rape a man. So, if you want to talk about it in that terms. If you want to go to common parlance, yeah, it's men. Men with dicks. That's how it works. That is a reality of the world. That's not rape culture. That's just a reality. Men have dicks. And a certain percentage of men are disgusting individuals that can't help themselves but rape. Some things are gendered. More women kill newborns. Are we going to say there's a baby killing culture now? There's a significantly higher chance in the first month of life that the baby will be killed by the mother, not the father. Just straight up murdered. Not accidentally. Murdered. Have we got baby killing culture now? Are all women to blame for baby killing? Oh my God. Don't focus on my words here. Don't focus on the meanings. Just accept the general tone of what I'm saying. Women are baby killers. They should all feel ashamed. It's fucking bullshit. Fuck off. Men rape men. Yeah, they do. In fact, if you take in the rape stats in prisons, some counts, because obviously it's a hard thing to count, some counts put more male victims of rape than female victims of rape. Because for some reason, American prisons are just full of rape. You guys are weird. Women rape men, but what makes rape a men's problem? Our problem is the fact that men commit 99% of reported rapes. They do, but oh god, I can't believe I'm about to say not all men. But not all men. What is it? 84% of gang rapes are done by Muslim men. That doesn't mean that all Muslims are rapists. That doesn't mean all Muslims should hold collective responsibility and collective guilt for it. What about the 84,000? I've not got the stats in front of me now. Last year, I was looking it up the other day. Terrorist attacks, most of whom the victims are other Muslims, but most of the perpetrators are also Muslims. Do we browbeat and guilt all Muslims? No, this is a very specific kind of bigotry. This is the thing. Whereas they've stacked up victim points and they've gone, well, men aren't victims, so therefore we can collectively... Oh, Josh. But yeah, it's true. Men commit 99% of all rapes. That's true. I've looked that up. That's completely true. How are you part of rape culture? I hate to say it, but it's because you're a man. That's quite a big claim here. Come on, justify it. When I cross a parking lot at night and see a woman ahead of me, I do whatever I feel is appropriate to make her aware of me. So that A, I don't startle her, and B, she has time to make herself feel safe and comfortable. What? What the fuck? This sounds like one of those weirdos you see out at night. Like, you imagine in his head. It's like, I'm don't worry, poor woman. I'm making you feel comfortable. I'm sure it is scary. I'm sure it is kind of scary a woman walking around at night. I know a lot of girls that hold their keys, or they have little things that they slip on their fingers, little spikes or whatever, and which technically is probably illegal. But who the fuck's gonna prosecute a woman for that? Women are weaker than men overall on average, so when you get a bad man, there's a good chance that bad man is going to be able to overpower the weaker woman, just on average, and that's how it is. But I don't understand this though. I need a qualifier for this. Well, I hate to say it, but it's because you're a man. How? Tell me how. Because right now you're saying this is how you feel. You feel that you should reassure women. Great, fair enough. I get that. Personally, I just. If I'm walking late at night, if I'm walking home at midnight or whatever, I just won't really make eye contact with a girl. Like, if I'm walking past her, I just won't. I personally, this is how I deal with it. It might be right, it might be wrong. I don't make eye contact with her because I think anything, you don't know their perspective. I could be like, or just sort of like, making it seem like I said, make her aware of me. Yeah. Which I get, to read this positively so I don't startle her. I get that. But I tend to find that it's like, well, if I'm giving them attention, that might set off spikes then. Why is he looking at me? Why is he motioning towards me? All that shit. No, I'm just getting on with my own night, and that's it. I'm just getting on with my own shit, and that's the end of it. And that's how I do it. But ultimately, I'd ask a girl to, if possible, don't walk alone. But ultimately, loads of girls do. Constantly. Manchester's hammered with him. And yeah, shit happens, but by and large, they're very, very safe. Basically, back to the essay here, sorry. Basically, I acknowledge every woman I meet on the street. Well, that just sounds creepy, mate. He's always saying hello. You sound like one of these... when that meme, reset the timer, reset the clock, if anyone doesn't know about it, where, there's yet another male feminist with pronouns in the bio gets found out to be a rapist or a paedophile or whatever. It's like, reset the clock! Because it's just constant. These guys that stand there. And this kind of sounds like that. I acknowledge every woman I meet on the street or in an elevator or in a stairway. Bloody hell, mate. In a way that indicates she's safe. How do you do that? How the hell do you do that? Specifically, I want her to feel just as comfortable as if I weren't, I'm back to the story here, as if I weren't there. Okay. I accept that any woman I encounter in public doesn't know me, and thus all she sees is a man, one who is suddenly near her. I have to keep in mind her sense of space and that my presence might make her feel vulnerable. This is quite interesting, isn't it? This is a sort of male supremacist argument, isn't it? You know, it's weird, isn't it? It's the intersectional thing again. They bounce around quite traditional viewpoints, quite bigoted things, but they build this language around to justify it, and so rather than just accept, oh, you know, this is why humour is so important. This is why it's bad that they don't have a sense of humour, because these things don't get broken down to it. You know, for him, everyone that he meets is a vulnerable woman. Is like thing, and yeah, technically, that might be the case, but the vast majority of men want to take care of women. The vast majority of men are aware of women's physical vulnerabilities. In fact, to a heightened point, really, where if you know, if a woman's in trouble, men will fucking roll over backwards to do something about it. If I slap my sofa in the street, people I'd fully expect to be fucking gang beat there and then, man, instantly. Women and kids, it's just the way it is. Now, it's not entirely fair. You know, like, if a guy's in trouble, people won't help because there's a social expectation of, like, well, you know, take care of it yourself, sort yourself out or whatever. And, you know, if anything, it's too far on that side of things. But you know what? Life isn't fair. Fuck it. Who cares? Here we go. Back to the essay. I don't know about you, but I don't spend much of my life feeling vulnerable. Here we go again. This is a male supremacist, isn't it, eh? He's misogynistic. You don't feel vulnerable, mate. Well, you know what? I'd love to know where you live, because you're more likely to be attacked outside as a man. More likely, only slightly. But if you're a man outside, you're more likely to be a victim. You are more vulnerable. Generally, other men, as you pointed out, are more likely to attack you if you're a man. They'll see you as a target. They're more likely to mug you, more likely to kick fuck at you, more likely to get murdered. So here's the thing, man. Alright, so you don't have a vagina, and I understand that, and I respect that, and it is. Walking around with a vagina? Who was that comedian described it as walking around with $10,000 in his backpack? And that feeling of walking around with $10,000 in his backpack from, like, the first big gig he got or whatever. And he said, I think it was like Chris Rock or something, but he said, oh, finally I know what it's like being a woman. I got something really, really valuable that I don't want anyone else to have, but everyone wants it. Finally, that's what it feels like having a vagina. And I get that, 100%, man. But if you don't spend your... Right, here's the thing. I don't spend much of my life feeling vulnerable. Good, that's your perspective. But the reality is that you are. The reality is that men's lives are incredibly disposable when compared to women's lives. By several factors. You remember those girls, those 300 girls that got kidnapped? Do you remember, like, Michelle Obama and all that were all out in front going, this is terrible. They never reported the fact what happened to the boys. Slaughtered. Murdered. Nobody even nobody reported it. They came in, killed all the boys, kidnapped. The boys didn't even get mentioned because culturally, men's lives aren't worth as much. Men go to war. Men do the dangerous jobs. Men die at work. No one gives a fuck, man. Men fail at school. No one cares. But you know what? Ultimately, that's the way it is, man. And you know, and it all goes back. It goes back evolutionarily to loads of things, man. And ultimately, it's because we can just produce a fuckload of sperm several times a day. We can just. That's what it comes. That's what it goes back to. Ultimately, 100 guys, you could kill 90 of them, and you've still got enough sperm there to go. But 100 women, because it's obviously, you know, a kid takes you out for a whole year. You know what a man does in 5 minutes in terms of procreation takes a woman a year. Her part of it. So women are more precious. Of course they fucking are. That's why women are weaker. You know, they were looked after, but I don't know. But if you don't feel vulnerable, then dude, good for you. But there's no reason why women can't feel... allow women the agency to not feel vulnerable too, why don't you? That's the point here, isn't it? It's great that you don't feel vulnerable, but let's let women not feel vulnerable also. You know? I don't know. I've come to learn that women spend most of their social lives with an ever-present, unavoidable feelings of vulnerability. Jesus Christ, mate. Maybe the women you know, because they hang around with male feminists. That's the thing. I always think this about feminists. They're all obsessed with it. And I just think, who are you spending your time with that thinks rape's okay? And it's always the same story you get from them. Well, all the girls I know have been raped. It's like, oh my God. Is it really that bad with male feminists then? That just all the feminist girls have been... It's just crazy. It's crazy to me, man. Let's just check the things before we carry on, sorry. Sooty said this, a bacon and egg butty is my hangover cure. Good man, good man. Kids, bless her. Oh, yeah, she's a good girl. She's been in Hakanera, still going, John Cena! Little Glob lives with 3 males. She gave birth to 2 of them. You feel very safe in my home. My boys are very respectful and kind to females. I know, that's the thing, isn't it? And this is most men. Most men. Jesus Christ. So he said that academia has gone crazy. How did this guy get... He's not a professor. No, Zaren's a professor. Oh my God. Well, there's a thing for that. Look up grievance studies. Look up Sokol Squared. They launder these bad ideas and they cite each other. The whole peer review system has been compromised to a phenomenal level. Academia has gone crazy now. This is Sooty's rehab. Now you get brownie points for spouting nonsense. Yeah. Well, look up Sokol Squared. Very, very interesting. I think they got 8 or 9 published, but they submitted 20 fake papers, which included rewriting Mein Kampf, but changing the German references to feminist references, and it got through. Dog rape. Farley Hill is saying usernames can only contain lowercase letters and numbers. Why? Oh, is that on our website? I wasn't aware of that. Don't ask me. I don't do any of the technical stuff, so I don't know. I do not know. I'm so sorry about that. But let's get back to this anyway, because I want to get on it quick, because it was just amazing. It was just amazing. A woman must consider where she is going. I do that too. What time of day it is. I do that too. I grew up in East Manchester. And in fact, the place where I spent my late teens, my early 20s, predominantly white. Yeah? I would not go to the shop at 9 at night. I would not do it. Because I'd get the shit kicked out of me. I know I would. There would consistently be gangs just wandering around looking for trouble. I really, really rough, horrible area. And I'd have to plan. If I needed something for the evening, because I didn't drive, I wouldn't. And here's the thing, I had really, really long hair. So it's fucking hippie and all that. Shit had happened, man. Growing up around there, no fucking way. Not that I would always be attacked. Most of the time, I'd go out, it'd be alright, but but there was enough trouble consistently over a long period of time where I was just like, fuck this shit. When I lived in Hattersley, biggest council estate in Europe apparently, or one of them anyway, they really, really poor, everyone's on benefits, never had any trouble. As soon as I moved to a slightly nicer area, fucking loads of shit happening. But yeah, it's down Clayton and stuff. It has really bad things, and there's no police there, and shit just gets out of hand. The gangs get ridiculous. Gangs of 20, 30 kids and all that. So yeah, I've lived like that, and it's why I live where I do now, actually. I'm very, very privileged. I live in a smaller place. If I moved somewhere else, I would live it'd be a fucking mansion. I'd have a back garden. I wouldn't live in a flat. But I live here so that I don't have to worry. 9, 10 at night, I go to the shop, don't give a shit. Don't care. There's something might happen, but it's not likely. What time she will arrive at a destination and what time she will leave a destination. What day of the week it is. If she'll be left alone at any point. The considerations go on and on because they are far more numerous than you or I can imagine. Why? This is the thing here. This is the thing where, mate, you are a misogynist. You are assuming you're assuming that your perspective of the world, yeah. I don't know where you live, but it sounds fucking amazing. If you can't even imagine being a man in danger out on the streets, if you can't even and then to be so unimaginative that you actually think that I couldn't possibly understand it as well, that no one else could. To think that, oh Jesus Christ, you fucking tool, you absolute idiot, you or I could imagine. How fucking stupid are you? How you're here trying to give us the female perspective, right? And you don't even understand the male one. It's insane to me. Get your own house in order, like fucking Jordan says. Tidy your room, mate. Tidy your room. Get that shit together first, hey? Before you start deciding the life that I've had, before you start deciding the understanding and the perspective that I've got. What, are all men just stupid, are they? And none of them on your fucking galaxy brain level of understanding? Because they're not in your cult, are they? They've not been fucking brainwashed. Honestly, I can't conceive of having to think that much about what I need to do to protect myself at any given moment in life. Well, whoop-de-doo. How fucking wonderful your life must be. How amazing. I relish the freedom of getting up and going out. Day or night, rain or shine, west side or downtown. As men, we can enjoy this particular extreme luxury of movement and freedom of choice. Come to Manchester, mate. Come to Manchester. I'll point you that way. I can still hear her shouting John Cena. Do you know what? I've said this before and I'll say it again. My little girl is strong and funny and independent. And of course, she's going to go out there one day and she's going to realise the reality of the world and she'll be crushed and all that shit. And innocence is lost, as they say. But my biggest fear is that she gets in with some freak like you that tells her she's weak, that tells her she's a victim, that tells her she has to be scared, that tells her she has to measure herself in relation to men. Fuck that, man. No good woman I've ever met has measured themselves in relation to men, in relation to male power, to male... You fucking... What was his name? What was his fucking name? Zaron, you are a misogynist bigot. You are a male supremacist. Only you've not got the balls to face up to it. You're a bigot with a guilty conscience. So what you've done is you've intellectualized this. You and many people. You've idea laundered this nonsense to each other so that you can justify your own bigotry. So you can justify your own guilt. But ultimately, you look down on women. This says more about your perspective than anyone else. When you're saying that nobody else understands, when you're saying that men couldn't possibly understand this extreme luxury, that's your bigotry. That's your perspective, mate. Go out, meet someone. This is the problem with these people. They're like, well, if you don't agree with me, then just unfriend me or I'll block you. And it's like, I keep saying, I said to someone the other day, like, just maybe you should have a conversation with a Nazi. That's what I said. It's like, well, I don't owe them my time. And it's like, no, it's not a question of that. It's a question of the fact that you think they're a Nazi, but it's very, very likely that they're not. That they just have another perspective. That they respect women in a way that is different to you. That's it. That, you know, that's, I mean, just, I don't know. Let's go back to the thing though. As modern men, we must seek out danger. No, that is false. Have we had a single? Oh yeah, here we go. What have we got? Rain. Oh yeah, he's got it for the rape stats. Wait, it's all... Oh, there we go. Yeah. And that's fine. I agree with that. Some of the stats these people use are just wrong. So he is linking out there, but then as soon as he gets to this is just pure opinion. There's no data. He's not linked out to anything at all. Oh, there we go. 73% of the time, the woman knows her rapist. Let's just jump to that for a second, shall we? So how does that equate to it being dangerous outside? How does that equate to rape culture for me? I don't know. It's a terrible thing. Oh, let's get back to this, but I don't know how much longer I can do this for. We choose adventures and extreme sports in order to feel like we're in jeopardy. Nonsense. We make games of our own vulnerability. Women do that too. Gee, are women so pathetic to you? When I went around New Zealand, it wasn't like men finally seeking vulnerability. There was men and women everywhere, throwing themselves off fucking bungee buildings and doing the canoeing down the crazy ass rapids, and men and women. And it wasn't like it. There wasn't like this thing of like, finally I know what it's like to be a woman, to be vulnerable. Don't get me wrong, man. There's nuggets of truth in this. That's the problem with cults. That's how they get you, man. The tiny little hints of truth, you know? I think about that, though. Did you ever see that Black Mirror when they put the little things on their heads? I mean, or loads of the Matrix. You know, and you can go into just another body. Do you ever think about that? Do you ever think about, like, just going fully into VR, like a full immersion, and being the opposite sex and having sex? I've been thinking about that for years, man. It was part of my final thing for college, for uni. Sorry, part of my final thing, where my feedback was mind blown. That was the thing, mind blown. I was like, "You're welcome." But yeah, when there was a Black Mirror about that the other day, and I thought this isn't new to me. I've been thinking about this for ages. And part of that would be the vulnerability. Like, if me and my girl could go into VR and she was like, oh, we could just straight up swap bodies, I think that'd be so exciting. I'd like, not permanently, but it'd be a nice evening. Wouldn't you like to know? Because it's like the yin yang thing, innit? The whole dynamic's different. With men, it's, you know, hard and all that. But with the whole thing with women is when women get excited, it's, as Prince said, soft and wet. Be quite interesting that the arousal being connected to a whole different thing. Apparently vaginas are amazing as well. I'd love to feel that. Be great, but I'm not going to become one of these freaks. just because I don't understand what that feels like. I'm like, right, well, all women are just vulnerable, pathetic creatures that can't walk around. I do, man. I've had attempted mugging. No one's ever successfully mugged me, but I've been attacked in the street plenty of times. As we were talking about the other week, there's nothing. When I go out, I am constantly hyper aware of everything. So for this person, I don't need to do that. I do, but if I do bungee jumping, it's for a different reason completely. Nonsense. Let's check this brackets. Obviously stated with full acknowledgement that there's a vibrant community of extreme. Oh, here we go. Extreme athletes that are women. There we go. We know you do it. However, women don't need to engage in adrenaline sports to feel at risk. You fucking tool. This is like, you know, when they say men shouldn't have an opinion on abortion law and stuff, which is nonsense, of course, man. Everyone can have an opinion on everything. This is kind of like, I'd imagine women really, you know, there's probably some very decent, well-minded feminists out there who read this and go, shut up. Because there are, not all feminists are idiots. It's the intersectional ones, really, that tend to drift into this sort of thingy. Right. I work out, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. A woman must consider where she's... Yeah, we've done all that, haven't we? I'm gonna move off this, because you know what? Fuck this guy. Wait, what's this? Because I'm going back to the story here. Because when it comes to assessing a man, whatever one man is capable of, a woman must presume you are capable of. Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But that also means... I'm going to read that in a sec. But that also means the male sort of desire to protect, which is very, very common. Very, very common. You know, where you'll step in front of, so you've got to assume. But yeah, of course, this is like the shit that you realise when you're 14. Like, oh yeah, anyone could be like dangerous. Yep, anyone could rape you, anyone could attack you, anyone could stab you, anyone could do. But then you move on with your life. But this person's like stuck there. Unfortunately, that means all men must be judged by our worst example. What? All men must be judged by our worst example. Okay, then. All women are judged at this point by these rules, then. Any woman could do a false rape claim against me. And they have done. It's common. It's a common thing when relationships go sour. He beat me, he raped me, he hit the kids. It's very common. Shockingly common. Because they're only, women work on reputation. That's what they're phenomenal at it. I can't believe it. There's that old joke, isn't there? You'll be there with your girl, and you'll see a girl, and they'll go, "Hi, how are you? Oh, I'm amazing. Oh, wonderful. How's the family? Oh, great, no problem." And you walk away, and as the man, you walk away, and you're like, "Oh, that was nice." And then she just goes, "Damn, bitch." Can you believe that? And you're like, what? And it's because there's all this shit going on that guys just, on average, don't tend to think about. They don't care about it. They're like, yeah, whatever. Because they're more physically minded, which is why so many of them are rapists and all that. It's funny. Some of the stories my missus tells me from work, she'll just tell me, and I'm like, I don't know when it's ended. Because it's just, and then so-and-so said this, and so-and-so said that, and I'm like, okay. I don't, and she's such a vindictive little bitch. And I'm like, okay, she's vindictive, cool, I don't care. I just don't care. Jesus Christ, that's so bad. That's like saying all Muslims are terrorists, or all Christians are paedophiles. That's what it's saying, man. Guys, stop trying to get me to talk about transgenderism, please. Please, I can't spend every week just sitting here screaming about weird trans trenders. If you think that sort of stereotyping is bullshit, how do you treat a snake you come across in the wild? Well, I'm very careful of snakes in the wild, actually, because I don't know anything about snakes, but I know a lot about people. Jesus Christ, associating. You're talking about the religious thing. We're bringing snakes into it now, are we? Well, you treat it like a snake, right? Well, that's not stereotyping. Okay, how's about this then? Incarceration rates are higher in America. I'm not sure about the UK. For black people. So if I go to America, should I treat all black people with caution and disrespect and like no, because they have a higher incarceration rate, because a snake's a snake? Is that what I do? You'd start a fucking flame war petition about me if I came out saying I'd do that. I wouldn't do that. In fact, there's a great thing about being you want to talk about privilege. Having this accent in America means I can go to some proper super black places, like black clubs and pubs and that, where normally white, and I'd go, hello, and I know the deal, but they hear my accent and they go, oh, he doesn't understand, yeah, and just sit me down. It's fucking great. And I do, man. I guess people shouldn't be in here. I'm like, what? Excuse me, sir? Why? Is it about to close? And they go, oh, great, he's British. Which is the same as having a mental illness, but I'd fucking use it. Use what you got, man. There's nothing wrong with that, but fuck off. Fuck off. This is the thing, man. These people, they talk about inclusion and diversity, and GAD says DIE, D-I-E. Diversion, inclusion, equity, DIE. They've just picked a thing. They're like, no. Bigotry's bad. Racism's bad. Fascism's bad. Apart from little bits that we like. And, as I saw someone said the other day, the vast majority of the people on the left want to stop oppression. You've got to remember that. These are the freaks, man. These are the freaks. But the vast majority of lefties want to stop oppression. Of course they do. But there's a minority of them who use that goodwill, who use that attitude because they want power. They don't want to stop oppression. They want to be the oppressors. They see it as an injustice over centuries, and they build it up in their heads. All white people are slave owners, regardless of history. We all know about the actual history of slavery. It was a global thing, and it still is. And it was certainly not built around fucking colour of your skin, man. Jesus Christ. Not even close. That's just a wildly inaccurate reading. But again, if you can't even understand all other male perspectives, then how the fuck are you going to understand nonsense like that? I don't know. But I don't know. But yeah, because of that perspective, that historically everyone's guilty. It's original sin, isn't it? And whereas the Christians are like, Jesus died. The Christians believe in it, but thankfully, there's a trigger there of like, well, Jesus died for my sin, so I can, and there's a freedom to that, and that's kind of the thing built into it. Intersectionality is such a young religion that it doesn't have that same trigger to bring most of the weirdos back from the brink. Do you get what I'm saying? And so they don't have Christ on the cross. They don't have an equivalent at the moment to rein them in. So rather than being a religion of peace, a religion of hope, it becomes a cult bent on destruction. And then people like this who want to turn the tables of oppression as they see it, they will weaponize the good ones, Because, of course, ask anyone, do you like rape? No, rape's terrible. Oh, cool, we'll read this then. Wait, he still hasn't said that rape culture. How? What the rape? It's back to the thing. Rape prevention is about the fact that a man must understand that no doesn't mean yes. Well, obviously. Sometimes it does. It does. That when a woman is too drugged to respond, that doesn't mean yes. Sorry, I didn't go back to the essay. Sorry, I didn't transition. We know. Teaching a man no doesn't mean yes doesn't stop rape. Rather than focus on how women can avoid rape or how rape culture makes an innocent man feel suspect, our focus should be, how do we as men stop rapes from occurring? And how do we dismantle the structures that dismiss it? Here we go, dismantle the structures. This is it, man. Rapes happen, therefore society needs to go. You can't possibly understand that, like, that violent crime, that rapes are going fucking down, plummeting. Look at the last 100 years, man. Things are amazing. But they won't read a book. They won't look at the history. They won't actually look at the facts on the ground. No, rapes still happen, and they always will. Always. You're never going to stop it, mate. So I'm sorry, but I appreciate that you want to dismantle the structures that dismiss it, but that's in your head. This is just cult reprogramming. Like, the structure that we have, the cultural structure that we have, because obviously in the law it's illegal, but it's also very hard to prove. That's why I think it was about 5%, the conviction rate, but it's also around 5% of the false thing, and then there's this big grey area that it's hard to prove, man. And, we need to do something about that, maybe. We need to do something about getting girls at the police station quicker so they can be tested, so we get evidence and all the rest of it. I don't know. Fuck off. And change the attitudes that tolerate it. Nobody tolerates it, you freak. It is one of the most disgusting things in culture. I couldn't just say, if I just sat here now and here we go, I'm a rapist. Oh, I did a good rape last night. What the fuck are you talking about? Illegal things, bad things that are tolerated is me if I said I smoke weed. Yeah? Everyone knows it's legal, but everyone's like, he likes a joint, doesn't he, man? Like, you know, sometimes I ride my bike on the pavement. That's a tolerated thing. You know, just me, like, exactly that, right? Technically, it's illegal to ride on the pavement, yeah? But I've got a chair for my bike for my daughter. Now, I don't want to be out on the busy roads with my daughter if I can help it. So if I've got round here to get from mine to the park, I'd stay on the pavement with her. And we've waved at police officers as we do it. Hey, we beep the horn. Good morning. And they'll put the lights on for us. And that's them witnessing me committing a crime, yeah? But there's certain common law things, and there is a common law thing because there's certain bike lanes that are on the pavement. So obviously this is not thingy. But that's a structure that tolerates certain things. Rape isn't tolerated. Are you fucking... How insane do you have to be to think that rape is tolerated? Oh, let me guess. Oh, shit, fuck off. Right, this is the... Right, I'm going to move on from this, but this is the last thing, right? No, it's not actually. Look at this shit. Boys will be boys. Nobody says that for rape. That is one of the grandest straw men of intersexuality ever. They always go, oh, well, it was in that Gillette advert, wasn't it? Boys will be boys. Nobody says that about rape. They say it about lads. You know, lads on a night out, they'll get a bit boisterous. They'll start pushing each other and fighting and stuff. It's not serious. They might have a cruder sense of humour. Again, for evolutionary reasons. You know, women basically pick the partners and all. It's a big thing. But nobody says boys will be boys for sexual... That's not a thing. That is a straw man. Sexually explicit jokes? Are you fucking insane? This is rape culture, is it? Just jokes. Just humour. Oh my God! Humour is a tool that we have developed as a species for us to process terrible things. It's to process new ideas that make us feel uncomfortable. Are you insane? Tolerance of sexual harassment. What? Is that a cultural thing? I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, for fuck's sake. Inflating false rape report statistics. What does that even mean? Can you give me a fucking thing here? Because that's the most serious thing. Rape's a horrible thing because one of the most brutal things a man can do to a woman is rape her. But then in reverse, one of the most brutal things a woman can do to a man is a false rape accusation. But what's inflating? Define inflating, motherfucker. This is the thing. He starts out with that, like, don't worry about the meanings of the words. Don't worry about the specifics. Just soak it in, yeah? You know, like, yeah. Tolerance, we're tolerating it. We shouldn't joke. Publicly scrutinising a victim's dress, mental state, motives and history. But the problem with that is, right, recently there's been a thing where if a man and a woman are both drunk, this is the thing that's happening in America at the moment. If a man and a woman are both drunk, both of them drunk, and they hook up, these people then after the event classify that as he raped her because she couldn't consent because she was drunk. Even though he was drunk as well. I mean, Jesus, a drunken hookup. That's how they somehow in their minds, that's how they do it. But no, this is bad. Scrutinising a victim's dress, mental state, motives and history. I mean, you do need to do that though. You do. That's part... Innocent until proven guilty. You need to scrutinise it. It is a serious crime. Needs to be scrutinised. This is the same thing, man. And these same people attack people for wearing MAGA hats. They're like, well, what she was wearing is irrelevant. And then it's like, but then an 80-year-old Jewish man in a MAGA hat gets arrested. And it's like, well, he shouldn't have been wearing that then, should he? It's just hypocritical. It's nonsense. Gratuitous gendered violence. Fuck off. Fuck you, man. This is the thing when they're going on about horror movies and all that, isn't it? Video games. Jesus Christ. Defining manhood as dominant and sexually aggressive. Mate, you've obviously never had an orgasm. The cook that you obviously are. But that's part of it. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I'm kinky, man. I like sort of feeling weak and vulnerable in the bedroom sometimes. It's nice. It can be. Let's explore this. Why not? But just the act of getting an erection isn't aggressive. It's a forceful thing. Your heart has to go and fill that motherfucker with blood until it's like a rock. Of course it's aggressive. That's part of it. Embrace it, man. Why do you think so many women like being choked, dickhead? It's part of it. Aggressive. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily define I love that as well. Manhood. But it is, of course it is. It's part of us. Dominance and sexually aggressive. It's part of it. Of course it is, man. And if a man wants to define themselves that way, let them have it. Fuck that shit. You can do that and still be healthy. You can still be a confident, good, decent person. Fuck you telling men how to define themselves. Defining womanhood as submissive and sexually passive. I think this is what you do, mate. I think this is what you do. I think the language earlier on in this article screams that this is what you do. And you're like, we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do this. We shouldn't. None of us do, mate. It's you that does. Pressure on men to score. Fuck off. It is. He's stuck at 14, isn't he? He never grew up. Pressure on women not appear cold. Assuming only promiscuous women gets raped. Nobody thinks this, dickhead. Nobody thinks this. Assuming men don't get raped or that only weak men get... Oh, Jesus Christ. Refusing to take... People take rape accusations phenomenally seriously. This entire thing is a straw man. But then the last point here. Teaching women to avoid getting raped instead of teaching men not to rape. Ultimate straw man. It's not the case. Right? What are you going to do? Are you gonna engineer every single man on earth to not be a rapist all of a sudden? How are you gonna do that? How the fuck are you gonna do that? Or are you gonna sit down and you're gonna say, most men are amazing. Most men will bend over backwards. Most men will literally die for you in certain circumstances, even if they've never met you, just because you're a woman. Women and children first off the plane. That'd still happen, man. That'd still happen. Most men would literally die for you. But there's some bad dudes out there. Really bad dudes. Dudes that are going to hold you down and fuck you. Should we have a conversation about how to avoid that? Should we have a conversation about letting people know when you're leaving and when you're getting somewhere? Should we have a conversation about not walking around in the middle of the night on your own? Should we have a conversation about sticking with your friends? You know? You're going to go out, get an Uber to your mate's house and then go together. Let people know where you are. Keep an eye on each other. I see a lot of girls put things on their drinks. Get someone to watch you drink. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do that stuff. But it is not instead of teaching men not to rape. Men aren't just drifting around going, oh, you know what? If only someone had told me that no means no. I just can't help myself. I can't help throwing myself on every bit of pussy that comes my way and just ragging it and then drifting off with zero awareness of the consequences or the impact or that it's even a bad thing. Bullshit, mate. Even rapists know that rape is bad. Nobody is teaching instead. You straw man building, intellectual piece of shit. You are fucking disgusting. And the problem is people believe this. Rape culture, my fucking ass. Avoid using language that objectifies or degrades women. Fuck you. Fuck you. Some women like to be objectified. Yeah, I said bad words, Zelda. Yeah, sorry. You didn't say bad words. You're right. I'll get you an ice cream. Can you just let me finish my work? I know you didn't say bad words. I was a bit loud, wasn't I? I guess that's the end of that segment. Just get... Dude wants money off you. That's it. That's the long and short of it. Shit. Joe Public, when I get drunk, I have difficulty performing. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, innit? When I know every time I get with someone new, which doesn't happen again, and hopefully will never happen again. There's that weird thing, isn't it? Because you're out with them, but you're like thinking, can't drink, water, because you don't want to have like 5-6 pints and just like, whoa. I can't believe I said bad words. So he said, how can the left stop oppression? The answer is by oppressing everyone else. That's the thing. Farley said, I know. She just, Daddy! Hannah God said, gotta love kids to put you in your place. Yeah, it's good she's reminding me. I was getting a bit angry then. That's my hour. I'm done. I did one story. Jesus Christ. Right, well, couple of things quickly then, I guess. I mean, should we stop? Should we carry on? I don't know. Today's the 23rd of June. Happy Independence Day. Do you remember when Nigel Farage declared it was Independence Day? And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not, let's not be ridiculous. But then what I love, because I don't give a shit. If someone wants to say Happy Independence Day, go for it, man. You have fun. But then there's this thing of like, ice cream money. Who did I get that off? One sec, we'll start this again. Oh, there it is. There's the noise. Nat, thanks, Nat. I will go and get her. I will go and get her a proper ice cream after this. In fact, no, we're running out of the sauce. So once they have their cut, you know the chocolate sauce that goes hard. We're running out of that. That's $1.50. So once they've had the cut, I should cover it. Thank you. I'll go get one in a minute. Well, when I'm done. Let's start again anyway. Happy Independence Day. 23rd of June. And it's a weird one. Like I said, I don't care. If you want to say it's Independence Day, I don't care. I don't think about it like that. But if you want to, good for you. But of course, this is going to become a thing now because people like The Independent, and I know you shouldn't read The Independent, but I can't help it sometimes. They say it's offensive to call Brexit an Independence Day. The EU wasn't an enslaving colonial power like Britain. I don't know, mate. All right. You want to talk about the history of Europe? I mean, they've been very clever there. They've gone the EU, specifically the EU. But ultimately, there's people I can't... if I don't like the person that's bringing laws in, who do I vote for to change it? So there are issues there, man. I mean, but okay, so we're going to draw a line around enslaving colonial, but that you can still be independent. Hong Kong wasn't enslaved. They fucking hated it. I remember when the British came back after World War II, it was like, yes! And look at them now. Now that Britain's gone from Hong Kong, they're out in the streets protesting because China just wants to destroy democracy there. But Hong Kong was one of the most capitalist places on the planet, and it was fucking amazing for it. But this is a non sequitur, isn't it? It's offensive to call it Independence Day, but the EU wasn't an enslaving colonial power like Britain. But so what? You can still call it that, though. You can still call it that. Calling for a British Independence Day is wounding to all the nations that revolted and fought hard against British colonial rule. This kind of language is contributing to real incidents of xenophobia across the UK. The Independent, of all people, browbeating and lecturing us on language when you were celebrating milkshaking, actually celebrating it, and described it as, quote, the perfect way to protest. And now you're lecturing us about fucking language. And what the hell is an incident of xenophobia? I don't like Australia very much. There you go. I don't like Australia. I just didn't like it. I don't know if it was the mood when I was there or the work I was having. I don't know, but I don't like it. There you go, xenophobic. There's a xenophobic incident for you right now. Who gives a fuck if someone's xenophobic? Who cares if someone's racist? Who cares if someone's homophobic? Who cares? Who cares about what other people say and what other people think? It gives a shit if people want to say it's Independence Day. After the let's go back to the thing. I'm going to do this really quickly. After the EU referendum results, Nigel Farage proudly proclaimed, I remember that the 23rd of June should go down in Britain's Independence Day. Can you imagine if the Brexit Party at the general election get enough votes where he says, that's his terms, Mr. Farage, Kingmaker, sat there with his 30 MPs. And they could all, because that's that could be the situation, man. He could have like 20, 30 MPs, and then it could be Labour and Conservatives on their knees saying, make a coalition with me. And he's obviously going to go to the Tories, isn't he? And he's going to say, I want to be Deputy Prime Minister, and I want Independence Day, baby. It's a holiday, a national holiday. Can you imagine? And shit like this would only make it more likely. I don't know. But yeah, traditionally an Independence Day marks the end of colonialism and ownership. Traditionally. Is that right? You're conservative now, are you, independent? They flex and flow on tradition, don't they? We want to dismantle the systems and the patriarchy and all that. But then when it suits their argument, they're like, tradition. Respect where we came from, mother. And but yeah, so what? Not necessarily always. Sometimes it's the end of a dictator, a homegrown dictator. Sometimes it's the end of bloody socialism. Finally, we defeated socialism. I mean, I'm sure that North Korea has an Independence Day, and I'm sure it's freedom from. But when they finally get rid of all Kim Jong's own family, then I'm sure they'll have their own Independence Day. It's over, finally over. It's completely inaccurate to equate Brexit with the liberation of it. Well, you've just done that, though. You've just done that. You've just redefined it as you see fit. Jesus Christ, man. Is this Mark's comment? Voices. Is Voices comment? It must be. It must be. Please. This is a comment. We're going to assume this is an editorial. It's got to be. Wait, Yasmin Ahmed? You know what? Fuck it. Fuck that. If you want to say Happy Independence Day, say it. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Why would you care? Why would you care? And what is it at the moment with... I mean, this happens on the right. Of course it does. But the vast majority of the left are just losing themselves to straw men. They build, as was the case in that, they just build a straw man and go, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Independence Day means freedom from colonies and enslavement. That's not what Brexit was. It's like, well, okay, but you've just redefined the word to then go... And you know what? In terms of Farage, I don't want to celebrate. I don't give a shit about it. But that was fucking genius. The man is a phenomenal orator. He is. That was the perfect thing to say at that exact moment in time. It was. And you can go back and try and mess with the phonetics and all. No. That was the perfect thing to say at that exact moment in time. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever. Guys, don't forget to hit like. Please hit like. Drop us a comment. Drop us a share. Share the clips as they go out. Subscribe. Hit the bell, please. I was nearly late today. Obvious reasons. And yeah, if it had been late, then you wouldn't have known. You might have come at 12. You wouldn't have known. You wouldn't have had the bell. And please don't forget. Join up on triggerwarning.tv. Please do it. We've got the social media here. We've got the store. You can directly support us. You can directly get involved. And of course, Trigger Warning supporter right there. Get yourself a Rape Unicorn t-shirt. Get yourself a mug. But of course, please, drop us a super chat or just become a legit official Trigger Warning supporter. Be one of the Triggerists. I would say, if you are already a Patreon, because we've got many wonderful Patreons at the moment, drop Hayden a message before you jump over, because he's built all this himself, so we've got to be careful and all that. But yeah, it might be worth him knowing before you cancel, because you might cancel the Patreon, or do it. Well, if you did it now, and it didn't work, you could always start the Patreon again. But we'd like to migrate people if we could. But there won't be any exclusive content yet. But there will be soon. And there'll be a whole members area. There'll be parts of the forum that only you can join in on all that. But please join us, guys. Guys! Oh my God, it's so late. Oh, I got to talk about this, though. I got to talk about this really quickly, man. Andrew Yang, he wants to do the freedom dividend. As he says himself, there's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month. Andrew Yang introduces himself to a crowd, and I've got the Daily Mail specifically here because I think it's quite an interesting perspective. Oh, 18 watching, 16 likes. Fuck yeah, thanks guys. And it's weird. I don't believe in universal income. I think maybe eventually at some point, maybe. But look what we've got here. We've got working tax credits, and all it's done is just put a load of people, just kept people in poverty. It doesn't help. It just means it's slowly eroding away at the economy. Jobs pay less because they know you'll just get benefits. So there's no leap. You know, it's like, so you just create a class there of like people that are on good enough money who they want to just tax out of oblivion anyway. And then the rest of us, people like me that get working tax credits. And I'm like, why am I paying taxes for it to then go around the government and eventually slowly make its way back to me? It's a fucking waste of time. And I think that UBI, $1,000 a month, would do exactly the same thing, to be honest. But I wanted to bring this up because it's just the Daily Mail, innit? I would say, some people go, never read the Mail, don't read the Mail. No, do. It's good. Get the perspective. But I just love the fact that he ran off stage. I think Andrew Yang's idea at its core has some merit, and he's bringing up some important things about automation and stuff. But for me, the government isn't the answer to automation. You know? 200 years ago, 90%, 99% of us were farmers. 100 years ago, we all worked in factories. Those things died as new technology came along, and it's the same now. I think the biggest job in America right now is truck drivers, the most common, because obviously they're just getting shit everywhere, man, fucking flowing around like blood. Automation's going to do something to that. It's pretty fucking scary. It is scary, and he's got a point. But the government, when the government tries to solve these problems, always fucks it up, always. And if you're talking about $1,000 a month, woo! Yeah, you got problems there, man. Because then who, you know, Trump goes, hey, vote me in and I'll up it to 2,000, you know, some shit like that. And the other guy's like, no, 2,500. The economy's fucked. Maybe not there and then. You'd be great for a couple of years. 20 years from now, though, big problems. Big problems. And I'm not sure that you'd necessarily... The problem is you wouldn't necessarily have someone as thoughtful and competent as Andrew Yang involved at that point. That's the problem. I think he's a good guy, and I think he's got to make some phenomenal points. But he's not on one man. He's not going to become a benevolent leader, is he? It's not going to be like a North Korea situation, only Yang's the good guy who will, you know... No. How will this be a joke? But here's the thing. Here's the reason I wanted to mention this anyway. Because I do like him, but yeah. Yang has gained national attention with his plan to offer every American $1,000 a month in what he calls universal income. This is why I love the Daily Mail, man, because they're directly quoting him there. They're in what he calls... He doesn't call it that. He calls it the freedom dividend. He doesn't call it universal income. He calls it the freedom dividend. He wants to do it by changing the tax system. He's managed to find money for about half of what he needs to fund it, but it's the other half that I worry about. They're great, aren't they, the Daily Mail? They just can't get anything right. But it's nice, it's interesting. Oops, not refreshed. Farley says, I pay tax on my pension and it ain't much. Taluvian says, all the Democrat presidential candidates are running on money handouts. Yeah, it's a sad thing, isn't it? The big thing they're pushing as well is reparations. Oh my God! Yeah, reparations, mate. Ridiculous. I'll get... Yeah. Shall I say goodbye to my friends then? Will you let me say goodbye to my friends first? Okay, guys, I guess that's the end of the show. We didn't get to talk about Anita Sarkeesian, unfortunately. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on Tuesday for the podcast. Maybe I'll bring this up with... I'll probably bring it up with Hayden on Tuesday. She's back. The grifter's back. She's run out of money, so she's trying to bait people and all the rest of it. But yeah, this is It's gone on too long now. My little girl, and to be honest, she's been on a little tablet this whole time. That needs to come out of her hands. It's too long now, isn't it? It's like an hour and a half. No. So, guys, I love you so much. I'll see you on Tuesday. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to hit like. Always like. Drop me a comment, especially if I'm wrong. Tell me what I'm wrong about. Thanks as well for confirming that I'm a socialist, Teluvian. And, guys, I love you so much. I'll see you next Sunday at 12 noon. I'll see you at 10 o'clock for the big show. Don't know if we'll do it early again or not. We're not sure yet. We're not sure. Either way, I love you. I'll see you in a bit. Have a phenomenal day, guys.